Is that the mute music for us? Yeah. It's my honor to call to order the Historic Preservation Commission for the City of Eureka. First item of business is the roll call. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sievertson?
Here.
Commissioner Fair? Here. Commissioner Herlihy?
Here.
Commissioner Loring?
Here.
Commissioner Summers?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
And Commissioner Knight is not with us today.
Thank you. Second, our order of business is the approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes which you wish to propose? Hearing no additions or corrections, are there any objections to adopting the minutes as they were submitted? Hearing no objection, the minutes are approved as submitted. And then we move into public hearings. Number one is 1111 B Street. You want to give us that report? Oh, excuse me.
At this point, it should probably recuse myself as I've done a home inspection on this project and I've acted as a historic preservation consultation resource.
Any objection? So have fun. All right, so staff report, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Gonzalez, and I'll be presenting on the Osterling gutter system replacement at 111 B Street. Here's a bird's eye view of the project location within context of city limits. The property is located in the northern portion of the city. Here's a closer look. We can see the property is located between B Street and an alleyway, and between Clark Street and Simpson Streets. According to the Green Book, 1111 B Street
Can you
was
approach the microphone a little closely?
Yeah, sorry about that. Zooming in, we can see according to the Green Book, 111 B Street was constructed in 1884 and is described as a two-story East Lake house with a two-story square bay, shown here on the right. It's important to note that the structure was built in the late 19th century when old-growth redwood was an abundant and inexpensive building material during the lumber production boom at the turn of the century. One-piece milled redwood gutters were less expensive than metal and could be nailed directly to the rafter tails and sealed with lead flashing and roof cement. The deteriorated gutter system, including redwood gutters, downspouts, and redwood fascia where the gutters are attached, have a number of missing pieces, splits and cracks, wood rot, holes, and separated joints. During storms, rainwater runs down the walls, causing mold and water damage issues, which threaten the integrity of the home. The applicant initially sought out a like-for-like replacement, but the cost of reproduction gutters was financially infeasible and would require ongoing maintenance, not feasible for the applicant. The applicant is proposing to replace all wooden gutters and downspouts with aluminum gutters and downspouts and replace associated fascia with pre-primed cedar. Per the applicant, the aluminum gutters are financially feasible, have a timely installation, require minimal maintenance, and provide long-term efficiency. The project has been conditioned for gutter profile and color matching, where the new gutter must be installed in the same location and closely match the profile and color of the original gutters with the goal of minimizing any visual impact on the property's prominent historic figures. Eureka Municipal Code Section 157006C requires a proposed alteration to be reviewed in the light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based upon the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, specifically the standards for rehabilitation, which involves minor repair and alterations while preserving the historic character. One reason that rehabilitation is appropriate is because while the existing gutter system may be an original part of the house, it may not be considered a defining feature of the property and instead can be considered an accessory component because the gutter system is an inherently functional and periodically replaceable element of a building. For this reason, and those further explained in the staff report, staff believe that the project meets the standards for rehabilitation as conditioned. Therefore, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the application. I have a suggested motion when you're ready. The applicant and myself are available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Questions of staff? I do have one question. I did a drive-by a couple of days ago, and it looked like the gutters have already been removed. Is that the case?
From my understanding, some of those gutters are missing pieces, but they should know. Yeah, I'm not aware
Looks
of any
like all
work.
of them were gone.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
All right. Well, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
Any other questions of staff? Yes.
I have a question then. If they are down, where did they go? Because it has been in our historic motions and conditions to retain as many of the wooden gutters for use on other buildings or something like that as possible.
Yeah, that
And
might
I'm saying that there's going to be another gutter meeting and application, and with two people out here, I'm guessing one's for each application, then I won't have to say it again.
Yeah, that might be a question for the applicant. I wasn't aware that work was done on the property, unfortunately.
Any
I
other
believe
questions
she's
of staff?
online.
And I believe she is on Zoom, so we can.
The applicant? All right. Well, if there are no other questions of staff, then my Zoom screen is dead. If the applicant wishes to address the commission at this matter, please do so.
Derek, can you make sure the applicant can unmute herself and speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, hi, thank you. Thank you for hearing my case here. Your questions, Mr. Loring, I think you mentioned you noticed they were missing. I do have painting that is started. Those gutters, some I believe, possibly all have been taken down so that the condition of the house can be observed, and plans can be made regarding the fascia and everything else, pending approval. All of the gutters and the downspouts are on site. They are all located just inside the yard there and organized in a secure location.
That answers my question. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you wish to say to the commission at this point?
Myself, no, thank you.
All right. Then I will ask the commission if they have any questions of the applicant.
Well, I will ask the applicant the same question. What's your intention of doing with the gutters? Are they to be stored, for example, underneath the structure itself in case somebody wants to reinstall them in a future time period? Or any other thoughts?
If that's required of me, then yes, I do have space to store them, either under the property or in the garage in a weather safe area. I don't know if that's required or not. If it is not required to keep them, then I would certainly make them available to anyone else who might be able to use whatever could be used. They are in pretty bad shape. I hope that answers your question. And
It does.
you'll
Thank
give
you
me
very
guidance
much.
as well.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions of the applicant? If there are no further questions of the applicant, then I will ask you once again, is there anything else you wish to address to the commission?
No, I have no other questions. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Then we'll move on to the public portion of public comment and ask if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter. As you approach the microphone, please identify yourself for the record.
There. Hi, my name is Bob Libershaw. I still live in Eureka, and I'm concerned about gutters. I thought I'd bring a piece in case anybody's not familiar with redwood gutters. This is just a piece. I know a lot of people that do move into historic homes here in Eureka if they need new gutters, they get milled, get wooden gutters replaced in kind, like the Secretary of Interior standards state, to replace things in kind. So that's a little bit about the gutters. My major interest in being here is I want to keep history alive. You know, this house was built, it was in the winter of 1884, 85, starting in December 84, finished up early in 1885 by Fred Butterfield, the Butterfield boys. It's Fred Butterfield and his brothers. And Fred was a prominent Eureka contractor, you know, from 1884 to 1894 here in Eureka, building prominent homes, many prominent homes for prominent Eurekans. And I've done a lot of research on them over the years. And I have noticed that the outside of the house, I guess it was probably in the 50s that shingles were put on. And at that time, some of the ornamentation was removed because there was much more before that, but it was simplified to make it easier to get the shingles on. And Fred Butterfield, he kind of adopted the style of what the Newsoms brothers were doing with the West Coast stick, the ornamentation, you know, on like East Lake ornamentation on stick houses. You see a lot in San Francisco, and Fred Butterfield built that way up here. I don't know what involvement or entanglement he had with the Newsoms, if at all, but he certainly built, if you look at the houses, I'm aware of at least 10 that are still standing in Eureka. There's 5 others that he built that have been demolished, and there's more, you know, some less prominent, and there's a few commercial buildings, but he was very prolific. He was building all the time. You'd see articles in the paper, you know, here's a list of, he was a kind of a darling in the local paper. Here's a list of more houses that Fred Butterfield is doing. Also, I wanted to keep the history alive with Miss Josephine Ryan. She was the owner. In history, she's the owner. She's the one who had the house built. She was a sister of James Talbot Ryan. She arrived here maybe as early as 1854. She was certainly here in 1860, living with her sister Maria, who was married to Jonathan Clark. She had another sister, Margaret, her another brother, Pierce Howard, and she missed Josephine Ryan because she never married. She died in 1902. The last couple of years, she lived with her sister, rented out the house. Anyway, I think of that house, 1111B, is Miss Josephine Ryan's house. And it'd be a shame to see this replacement gutter for convenience to go up instead of, you know, retaining the actual, what we can of the house. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing no one approaching the microphone, I guess no one wants to, but I do have a question for the applicant if the applicant is still available.
Derek, can you make sure the applicant can unmute herself and speak?
Hello?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm here.
I should have asked the first time around, but I blew it. One of the issues is costs. Have you developed a cost estimate for replacing the wooden gutters?
I have spoken with Blue Ox Millworks. They gave me an estimate somewhere in the area of $50 to $60 per linear foot. That is to make the wooden gutters. That does not include painting or installation, and that does not include the downspouts. I don't know who could install these and do them in a timely manner as well. So the 315 feet or so that's needed times $50 comes to over $15,000 just for the for the gutters themselves, not including those other issues that need to be done before installation. The aluminum gutters and downspouts, including the downspouts and installation, falls somewhere in the area of $28 to $30 a linear foot, according to one of the estimates that I got. And I did collect 3 or 4 different estimates from various local contractors. I completely appreciate what Mr. Lieberschall is saying. I've done some research on the house as well, and it's heartbreaking that the house is in the condition that it's in. Unfortunately, maintenance has not been kept up. I have spent a lot of money at this point already to put on a new roof, to upgrade the electrical. Still needs, of course, exterior paint, windows, gutters, and that's not even the cosmetic interiors. So I'm very much interested in maintaining the integrity of this property, and I too love the idea of keeping history alive, but it's financially very difficult to consider having redwood gutters manufactured and maintained for this house.
Thank you. So you have about 350 feet, linear feet of gutters on the house?
315 is what was noted in one of my estimates, yes.
Okay. Do you know how much of the existing gutter is salvageable?
I do not. There were several lines of it that were completely missing. Many areas of rot and breakage. There may or may not be photos available in the file there with you. I don't know, but I do have every piece there on site.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you for that information. I appreciate your cooperation. Again, is there anything else you wish to address the commission on at this point?
No, I don't. No, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions for the applicant? All right. Then thank you for participating. I will ask again whether there is anyone in the audience, virtual or real, that wishes to address the commission on this matter. I can't see anyone in the audience. Can you see anyone on Zoom? All right. So no one is approaching the mic or the podium. We do have someone approaching the podium. Again, for the record, please identify yourself.
Bob Libershaw again, and I'll keep it short. I heard mentioned that the windows are going to need replacement, and I've noticed that the windows I see on the house are, the wood sash windows. So I hope there's not going to be another meeting coming up here soon where the applicant's going to be asking for, not in kind, but replacement windows. Thank you.
Thank you. Then, once again, is there anyone in the audience, real or virtual, who wishes to address the commission on this matter? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for consideration. And before we start off, I want to say that this is an unusual discussion. My memory is not perfect, but I can't remember a project which consisted solely of replacing of wooden gutters. So this is a new issue for the commission. To the best of my knowledge and recollection, we don't have any specific precedent to deal with. We have dealt with wooden gutters in passing as parts of other projects, but not by themselves like this. So, with that said, what's your pleasure?
I like the idea of salvaging the parts that are usable, potentially for the most viewable portions of the house, depending on how much is realistically available. And then supplementing, I don't know, contractor-wise, is that a possibility? Yes. So I was asking him. That's what I would like to see, is what is usable. And cost-wise, that'll offset maybe a little of the cost.
Other comments?
Even though my phone is on Do Not Disturb, so it's not going to make any noise, I did quickly look up the cost of wooden gutters, a general cost, and it was nothing like the wooden gutters that are on this house, and it was about $40 a lineal foot. And so, the price that was mentioned is very much in keeping, having them specially molded. It's not a difficult activity, but you have to set up the saw and you have to run every piece. It has to be run. If you don't understand, the blade sticks up and you don't run it straight onto the blade, you run it across the blade. So the blade actually makes a curve in the wood that becomes the gutter. If you did it the other way, plowed it right straight down. So it's a very, very time-consuming activity. My wooden gutters were replaced before I bought my home. My home was built in 1903, and because of the height, I don't think anyone notices at all that the fact that they're not wooden gutters. In fact, I've had people ask me if they were wooden gutters. The design is very specific to the house that it's in, so that's comments all.
Any other comments? Then, please go ahead.
When I'm going through this, the invoice here for the aluminum gutters is $24,921. Is that what I see? Is that?
Yes, and I believe that includes all the repairs to the fascia and underneath it as well.
And I was just wondering how that compares to the price from Blue Ox.
For my calculations, with the $50 per linear foot, just the wooden gutter without the downspouts installation or the fascia board would come out to $15,750.
Right, so I think what we'd have to do is look at the total cost estimate and just take away the aluminum gutters and then add whatever the rest of that cost is. So we'd have to do that quick calculation.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we would need to know what Blue Ox's cost estimate would be for the downspouts and the fascia boards as well.
And it looks like that estimate, it doesn't break it down. It tells you everything they need to do, but they don't break it down.
I see that.
All right. Let me then. I have a couple of comments I'd like to share. Let's step back to the Secretary of Interior Standards, which is our foundation. One of the injunctions of the Secretary of Interior Standards is that you preserve original materials. I don't think there's any question that the gutter is an original material. But a more significant criterion is whether they're character-defining materials, whether they contribute to the overall presentation of the house as seen from the street. And I think arguably wooden gutters often are. Sometimes they aren't, but often they are. They are an integral part of the profile of the roof line as it meets the exterior wall. So from my perspective, they are a contributing element, and they're original element. That suggests that they should be preserved from the Secretary of Interior standpoint. Let's drop down to the ordinance, the Historic Preservation Ordinance of Eureka. There's lots of clauses, but one of them says, in essence, you got to consider cost. If there's a disproportionate burden on the applicant, then you can give them a get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, you've got to evaluate the costs of what the applicant wants to do and compare that with the cost of what would be more consistent with the Secretary of Interior standards, and then determine whether or not that difference represents a hardship. If it's a hardship, then the applicant can argue for a hardship and request the commission to give it a buy. So that's the regulatory step down. Let's look at the materials themselves. I also have put my hands on wooden gutters. I've got a funky Craftsman house. Doesn't have much in the way of gutters, but the original gutters were wooden, and I was able to find some old replacement gutters to fix it up. And I like it. The reason I asked about the condition of the gutters is that once you take down an aluminum gutter, you typically throw it away. Once you take down a wooden gutter, I found that there were portions that were rot, typically on the corners or where a downspout was attached, because those are the areas where water can get to the wood more easily. But long stretches of the used gutter that I got were in great shape. So the line I'm following at this point is that one of the options is to see how far the existing gutter stock will go. That's free to the applicant. They already have it. There were 315 feet approximately of gutter. If there are 150 feet of old gutter that can be salvaged from it, you have about half of the house with the original gutters on it, with no material cost and with labor cost. Now, I'm not a contractor. I will not put in a bid to replace the gutters or to put up aluminum gutters. But I do know I've done both myself, and the installation technique is pretty much the same. You nail them in place. The last item has to do with practicalities. One of the arguments that has been made is that aluminum gutters are longer lasting than wooden gutters. I'm not sure I believe that. The gutters on this house are probably close to 150 years old. And if they had been properly maintained, they probably wouldn't be coming down now. In any case, in this salt water environment of Eureka, I'm not aware of any aluminum gutters that have lasted 150 years. So I think a proper, like a wooden window, a wooden gutter can be serviceable for a very long time if properly maintained. So that brings us back to the point where we need to take action. The actions at this point are to either approve the applicant's request to replace all of the now in the yard, down in the yard wooden gutters with aluminum gutters, or to deny, or to define some middle ground. All right. Why don't you put up the draft motion so we can see what the staff recommended, and then I'll ask the commission what it wishes to recommend. Not the commission. I'll ask a commissioner what you wish to move.
So if we want to propose a change, I need to propose it first, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I would like to propose a change to require use of the salvageable portions of the existing gutters first and supplemented with her proposed gutters second, and place the wooden gutters in the most prominent visible areas to the street. Within design reason.
Okay. So is that clear to staff? Okay. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I'll comment that I agree fully with that, but that the prominence of the wooden gutters is the most, in my opinion, most significant portion of this, and it is covered with the Sumner's motion.
Okay.
And go
ahead.
ahead.
My only I like the motion. My concern is that I don't know what the financial impact on the applicant is. There may still be a hardship here. If there is, it's a matter that they will take this to the city council. I am not one to like delay, but in this particular case, the delay may be in the applicant's interest, in the sense that they could investigate the idea that we've been suggesting, identify costs, and either say they're willing to do it or give us the arguments for not being willing to do it. So, do you wish to proceed with this at this matter, or do you wish to carry it over to the next meeting? Staff, do you have any comments on my? Okay.
In considering finances, what you suggested earlier about already retaining the gutters and the type of installation, I mean, when I think about it, I don't know that there would add a significant cost, but would retain a significant value to the home and its historic relevance. So I do think it's worth it.
Other comments? If there are no comments, then I sense you're ready for a vote. Any objection to taking the vote at this point? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. It appears to be unanimous in favor. Would you like to explain to the applicant what this means?
Sure, there's a 10-day appeal period, and then you can apply for any building permits.
Yeah, and in clarification, the appeal period is you can appeal the decision of the Historic Preservation Commission to the City Council.
Good.
How do I go about doing that?
Alex, you can follow up with Alex after the meeting.
I see. Okay. May I make a comment as well?
Is there any objection to hearing from the applicant?
No.
No, please proceed.
Thank you. I wanted to just point out a little something in response to the character defining aspect of the gutters. I wanted to note that this house at some point in history was altered quite a bit on the outside. What I understand once was lovely gingerbread on the window trim, and the siding was removed for asbestos shingle. And in that case has lost a lot of its original character. I'm trying to preserve what is left of it and do it in a fashion that is financially feasible. So I don't know if you all have photographs of the property, but I wanted to point that out, that as it's standing now, it unfortunately has lost some of its character defining architecture or detailing, I suppose. And I realize from what I've told, there's a lot of gutter profiles that come very close to imitating the older styles of gutters. So I was hopeful that I would be able to proceed with construction. I'm not sure who does rehabilitation to old gutters. Is there a resource list that the commission supplies or assistance? If that is the route I need to take, where do I find help? It seems like a rather specialized sort of thing to rehabilitate old gutters and then to install them alongside newer portions of gutter that undoubtedly have different sizes and manners of moving water with regards to the volume that they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Is there assistance there?
The city has a resource directory which is at which you can access directly. I'll speak for myself, and I suspect there are other commission members who will be willing to provide our assistance if you want to call on us.
Fantastic.
I would like to acknowledge that, yes, your house has lost some of its character-defining features. It's still a very handsome house. And I personally applaud you for your willingness to take it on, to bring it back, to keep it going for another generation or two. Let me just help you perhaps understand a little more clearly what I have in mind in terms of the gutters. The gutters are broken down into runs, lengths of gutters. What I'm imagining is that the most visible lengths of gutters might be all wood. Those wood gutters work just the same as aluminum gutters. They collect the water in a trough and they send it down a pipe to the ground. So the most prominent lengths would be all wood. And if you did not have enough wood for a given length, it would be aluminum. So I'm not imagining that you would meld aluminum and wood gutters in the same run.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, the front porch would maintain its original character and wood gutters,
Yep.
but the roof line, which is separate, might not.
Right. If you have enough gutters, the whole roof to do the whole roof line, then we'll all celebrate. If you don't, then we won't. Yeah. And again, installation of wooden gutters is as simple, if not simpler, than aluminum gutters. It's just nail them in place.
Yes.
So-
Something I'm not familiar with, 30 feet off the ground. Another challenge.
Life is full of challenges.
The height makes it very, very difficult.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you'd like to say at this point?
No, I'm not sure how to proceed next. You're offering this 10-day appeal period. I suppose Alex can help me navigate that process.
Correct.
Yeah, definitely. I'll reach out to you after this meeting.
And if you would like assistance evaluating the alternative that the commission is recommending, reach out to the staff or to the commission itself.
Thank you. And Alex will have those contact numbers for me as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Anything else on this matter? If not, then we move on to the next item. Would you like to present that staff report?
I think we need to retrieve Commissioner Hurley.
Oh, Sean, please join us. Let it be noted that Sean Herlihy has rejoined us.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. Assistant Planner Henry Baker presenting for your consideration the Sims Hales gutter replacement. Here's a bird's eye view of the project location within city limits. The property is located at 1631 C Street, located in the city near Wabash Lane, or Avenue. Excuse me. Zooming in, we can see that the property is located between C and Lowell Streets and is approximately 5,097 square feet in size. According to the Green Book, the home, built circa 1903, is a 1.5-story frame colonial house with classical portico, shown here on the right. The colonial revival style lasted from the 1880s all the way through the 1950s. These homes were constructed with the materials that were available at the time, and this home was constructed with wooden gutters. There are approximately 140 feet of wood gutter and 9 downspouts along the perimeter of the roof, shown here in red. After 100 years, the original wood gutters are now weathered beyond being functional. The gutters have a number of splits, cracks, wood rot, and holes and separated joints. During storms, rainwater leaks through the gutters and enters the soffit space and runs down and through the walls, causing mold and water damage inside the wall, which threatens the integrity of the home and health of the occupants. The applicant originally sought a like-for-like replacement from Blue Ox Millworks with their contractor, but the cost of reproduction gutters was prohibitively expensive. The cost of repairs to the building and like-for-like replacement with wood gutters was quoted at $23,750, whereas the cost and repairs associated with aluminum gutters was $15,076. That's a difference of $8,674, and the biggest contributing factor to this cost difference was the cost of the wood gutters themselves, which cost over $9,000 to produce. The applicant is requesting approval to repair the water-damaged materials surrounding the soffits and replace the home's wood gutter system with an aluminum gutter system. The image on top here shows the existing wood gutters, and the image below is what the aluminum gutters will look like, taken from another colonial revival home of the same age on the same street. While clearly distinct from the wood gutters, the aluminum gutters can be fastened to the fascia in the same manner as wood gutters and are similar in overall appearance in regard to dimensions and profile. Eureka Municipal Code 1576C requires a proposed alteration to be reviewed in light of its effect on the existing historical character of the affected structure as it relates to the streetscape. In addition, the analysis in the staff report was based on the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, specifically rehabilitation, which involves minor repair and alterations while preserving the historic character. A full analysis is included in the staff report. However, staff does believe that the project meets the standards for rehabilitation with 2 added conditions. First, that the applicant shall undertake the project as approved by the Historical Preservation Commission, and any deviation in design, architectural style, or exterior appearance from those currently proposed and conditioned shall have prior approval. And that work shall be performed in a manner that protects the original materials attached to the gutters, eaves, cornice, and downspouts. And if any of those original materials are determined to be beyond repair or reuse, they shall be replaced in kind, like for like, matching the original in material, dimensions, profile, and finish. Based on the findings and analysis demonstrated within the staff report, staff believes that the proposed alteration meets the standards for rehabilitation as conditioned, and therefore recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA, conditionally approving the application. I have a suggested motion when you're ready, and the applicant and myself are here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Are there questions of staff? If there are no questions of staff, then I will ask if the applicant is in the audience and wishes to address the commission. You need not do so, but you're welcome to do so. For the record, please identify yourself.
Yes, my name is Hank Sims. I live at 1631 C Street. I own 1631 C Street with my wife. I just wanted to thank the commission for its consideration and staff for its work, and to be able to answer any questions that you might have to the best of my ability. I'm not a contractor, not particularly handy person myself, but we've been talking with those people for quite a lot. I did want to correct one thing, I believe, in the staff report. The amount that you quoted for the wood replacement, that was minus the materials. So I believe that the $23,000 figure was for the contractor to do the work. The bid from Blue Ox that we got for the wooden gutters replacement was separate. So it was, I believe, $32,000, close on $33,000, $32,871 in total for the wooden gutter project, and $15,000 for the aluminum gutters.
Okay. Questions of the applicant?
I have a question. Have you been able to go out and assess the condition of the gutters and kind of look at what they look like?
I mean, I can look at them with my unpracticed eye and see that yes, we've had them cleaned regularly, and I can see that they're falling apart. I can certainly see when it rains that they leak. I think more importantly is, and I believe the staff has some photos that our contractors took of long runs of the gutter being, he can stick his chisel through it. It's worn down.
And I haven't been past this house. Can you see? I saw there it faces 2 streets. Is it visible from both streets to the public?
I believe so. Although in the back on Lowell Street, I'm not exactly sure like what length of gutter is visible.
Other questions of the applicant?
This seems to be a financial constraint on your part. Have you approached anybody regarding the Mills Act and tried to see if this is a way we could offset some of the cost?
I have not done that yet. I was not aware of it. Staff told me about this program when we applied for this project, and so we will certainly look at that in the future.
Are there any other questions, please?
Have you looked outside the area for wooden gutters? I'm just curious.
We have. I mean, there was a previous case that the commission heard in which I believe that it was about 2 years ago that a person had applied essentially much the same. I think there were other parts of the agenda, other parts of her project as well. But it was conditioned in that case that reusable old parts of the gutter would be kept. I did approach that person. She said that there was nothing particularly usable that was left from her project. That's what we've done. Yeah. I mean, I know that you can get gutters of different materials, non-redwood materials. On the East Coast a lot, I think. They certainly don't match, the ones that are commercially available don't match the profile of these gutters. Much less so certainly than the aluminum ones that are next door to our house, as Henry showed. And anyway, they don't match the same shape at least. Right. Yeah.
Any other questions of the applicant? All right, then, is it anything more you wish to say at this point?
No, I don't think so. Just that we're eager to, as Henry said, like especially the back of our house, the side facing Lowell Street is suffering rain damage, and we're certainly eager. Our contractors tell me that they're ready to start work on the job, and we're certainly eager to do that as soon as possible to prevent further damage.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the commission at this point? Please identify yourself for the record.
My name's Jennifer Hales, and I'm Hank Sims' wife and resident and owner of the property. I just wanted to comment on a few things that have been said, especially in the last case. We've been working on this for over a year, this project, and our concern was we really love the house, and like Henry had mentioned, in the back part of the house, the water is actually bubbling through the wall and really damaging it. And we'd gotten the floors replaced. We're fighting a losing battle, it feels, and financially we cannot do the wooden gutters. So it would just mean like that it actually would harm the appearance of the house as it goes, because it's just so crazy, the cost of it. And also the people that we've been working with have said that to manage them, you have to deal with getting way up high. It's a very high house, and do add tar to it constantly. And the gutters also, the person we're working with to replace the gutters are very shallow, and our roof is very, very steep, so they were built inadequately. So they're not actually, in a few spots, the water just flies over, and it's not that it's broken, it's not holding the water. So they had suggested like deeper gutters that actually would help maintain the beautiful house. The other thing I wanted to mention is I've exhausted the list on your site, and every single person I called besides Blue Ox, who said they'd make it but not install, do not do that work anymore. So that needs to be updated. I'm trying to think. There was one more part I wanted to say. Just that the people that we've been working with, we've worked with like 3 or 4 companies, and construction workers all have recommended just how wonderful the aluminum gutters are in terms of protecting the house. And that's our main goal, is making it be beautiful and look as it did, in the past. So thank you for considering our case.
Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the commission at this point? Please identify yourself for the record.
Bob Libershaw. And I didn't come prepared for this house. I was thinking mostly of 1111B in planning to come here. And I'm not going to repeat what I said about the wood gutters. That still stands for all the houses with historic preservation concerns. But I did want to say that this house is incredible. It's up at the head of the top of Church Lane, which is a 30-foot wide street. And I think it comes up from California. So if you're down on California, down where the church is, you look up the street, this incredible cottage is right up at the top of it. It's a spectacular house, and I am familiar with it, even though I don't have all the facts with me, because I think it was 10 or 15 years ago, this house was on the Eureka Heritage Society home tour. And the owners then, it was a art instructor, artist people from College of the Redwoods, and they had done a lot of restoration or renovation work inside, and the house was on the home tour, and because of that, I did a lot of research on the house, the previous owners, the original owner, the builder. There's a lot more to the history than the Green Book on this house. And the house next door, which is, I think, connected with the same owner or the same builder. There's a house next door to the north, very similar. But this house is really spectacular, really beautiful. And whatever you decide, whatever comes from the commission about the gutters, and for the owner, I hope it's something, good for everybody and ultimately for historic preservation in the long run. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else in the audience, real or virtual, who wishes to address the commission on this matter? If not, then I'll close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for consideration. What's your pleasure?
I still feel the same, that trying to retain usable portions of the wood gutters is an efficient way to retain the historical value and supplement it as needed with the newer gutters.
Other comments?
I can't tell from looking at your photos how many linear feet of salvageable wood gutter you have. Sometimes here, looking at the side and the rear, it looks like there are long runs that are intact. But I do understand what your wife said about it's too shallow to be functional.
Yeah, and I don't know how to judge myself what is functional and what is not. It's along the side there. There is a photo in the staff report, I believe, of our contractor with his chisel, and that is a long run in the middle of a long run along the side of the house. And so I don't, my opinion would not be worth much about what is salvageable and what is not. I can only say that the contractors that have looked at it think that very little of it is.
I see, because I do like what my fellow commissioner suggested in the last house is a fusion of using the redwood and supplementing it with, the aluminum where it's necessary.
Yeah, the only question I would have about that is who makes the judgment, or how do I make the judgment of what is?
I see. Thank you.
Sure.
Other comments?
I'm sorry, I have another question before you.
All right, a little irregular, but let's do it.
Did the contractor actually go up and look into the gutters?
Certainly, yes. Yeah, he did, in all of them. And like I said, it's the same contractor we had, clean them this summer.
Okay, because that was what I was going to say. It's incredible, even if you don't have trees around your house, how much debris gets into them.
Certainly.
It's just phenomenal, and you see it all the time with plants and even bushes and trees growing out of people's gutters because there's so much dirt in them.
I could show you a couple at our house now, yes.
Thank you.
Ted, can I make one more? This is sort of off. I used to live on C Street many, many years ago, and I've always admired your house.
Oh,
so
thank you.
whatever efforts you make, toward preserving it, it's just so classic.
Thank you very much. We love it very much as well, and that's why we bought it. Yeah.
I think we all agree it's an incredibly handsome house.
Thank you.
Can you put up the first slide of this slide deck? The one with that. Yeah. Okay. No. The one that shows the facade of the house. The reason I asked for this is because this shows how the gutters are. Nope. I can't see the gutters. There. This shows how the gutters are integrated architecturally into the facade. You have a pedimented porch there. You have a gutter which cuts across the bottom of the pediment, performing the bottom of the pediment, and then becomes the gutters on the side of the porch. You have a gutter which runs along a non-functional gutter, runs along the edge of the gable and makes a nice joint to become the gutter along the edge of the roof. That's what's lost. If you replace the existing wooden gutters with aluminum gutters, you don't get that seamless interface between the various elements of the roof line. So that's simply to give you a visual to go along with the comments that I made at the beginning of the last discussion. So, any additional comments? All right, that brings us to the point where we have to make a decision. In this particular case, it sounds like the applicant has done substantial work on the costs. He has identified the costs of two alternatives. One is replacement of all, and the other is replacement of all of the wooden gutters with new wooden gutters. And the other is replacement of all the old wooden gutters with new aluminum gutters. The applicant has not priced the project that we have identified in our prior discussion, which is replace what you can with the rehabilitated old, and and then use aluminum on the balance. The applicant has also said they have talked to a lot of contractors and haven't gotten a lot of satisfaction. So that's some background. What is your pleasure? What do you want to do?
I think it really depends on how much of the gutters is salvageable. Because I still feel strongly that salvaging the materials, that would be a modification to probably their recommended proposal, which I will do again, to propose a modification that requires them to reuse salvageable parts and start with the pedimented portico part in the front. If that's all that's salvageable, it still retains a significant portion of the design with wood, and go from there.
Do you want to make that recommendation now, or do you wish to ask the applicant to cost that recommendation and come back to us for consideration?
Well, I think that it would be good to understand how much is salvageable and the cost, because I understand cost can be prohibitive. I've owned these houses as well, and especially with the steep roof lines, it can get steep in price as well. So if that's possible, then yes.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
It sounded like a motion to me.
We need we need a motion to proceed.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure.
Well,
I mean, I
if your inclination is to do what we did with the last
Yes,
item before
it
us, then
is.
you can forward that motion.
Okay, so my motion is to adopt the resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the gutter replacement with the condition that they use the salvageable portions that exist in the most prominent areas first.
All right, is that clear to staff? Hold on, sir.
Salvageable portions in the most prominent sections.
I think it's parallel to the prior motion in the prior case.
Okay.
Correct?
So from the, not the back street, Lowell, well, did you want to?
C Street.
Yeah, from C Street and not
Yes.
worry about Lowell Street.
Yes.
Yeah, the concept is do as much as you can with what is salvageable and then punt on the rest.
Okay.
Okay? That is the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second on it. It appears that the applicant wishes to address us. Are you willing to hear from him at this point? Okay. Please approach the microphone and again identify yourself for the record.
I'm Hank Sims. I guess my question would only be like, what I have from our contractor is that very little of it is salvageable, and so I don't know the process by which we would determine, or if there is someone external who would determine what is salvageable and what is not. It seems to me that it's not clear to me whether we can, if none of it is salvageable, if we can go ahead, or if 10 feet of it is salvageable, if we can or cannot. I'm just looking for clarity, because it's not clear to me in that circumstance what we may do and not do, and I don't want to step on the commission's decision.
May I respond? All right. This is just me speaking, but one, you've got a variety of different runs on the house, and I would assume that each run would be uniform, whether wood or aluminum. Secondly, you're not going to know the condition of the existing gutter systems until you remove them. You got to remove them regardless, so there's no additional cost in removing them. There may be some additional cost because you'll want to remove them carefully rather than just tearing them off. You remove them, you have 140 feet of gutter now. At that point, you evaluate what's there. If you can put a screwdriver through it, then that section probably shouldn't be reused. If you can't, you've got my experience. I had a 30-foot run of gutter that I needed. I had a 20-foot section that had rot on one end. And then I had another 12-foot section that had a hole in the middle where the downspout was. What I did was I cut off the section, the rotten end, beveled joint, and beveled the 12-foot section on it, and then basically filled in the hole, because I didn't need that hole there, and cut it to length. So my concept is, once it's down, you make a good faith assessment as to what can be salvaged, compare that to the various runs that are needed, and then put it on the most prominent runs first. Please.
My only question would be is I am not competent in making that decision of what is salvageable and what is not. So it would be my contractor.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And so long as your contractor is acting in good faith, I'm not going to complain.
Can I say something? I also think it's a good thing that the portico area that is the most noticeable design piece is some of the shortest runs. So potentially you could do the part in the front. And if that's all you get, that's still retaining the historical components.
Okay. And I shouldn't have to say this, but I will. We don't want you to have leaky gutters. Period. Okay? That's not good for you. It's not good for the house. It's not good for Eureka. All right. So we have a motion. Is there further discussion? Yes.
Just looking at the photographs, and I've never been there, and yes, I'm a licensed contractor, but I'm also retired, and we won't talk about my age. I prefer not to. So a lot of this material really looks quite usable. People that, my house that I have, which is 1903 Queen Anne, very simple. Water was coming through the walls. I bought it. The realtor thought I was crazy, but it was what I wanted, and I was able to take care of those problems. They're not insurmountable. And if the contractor is really diligent about how the materials are removed and everything, and I'm sure they would be, then you might be very surprised how much material you end up with. I've been texting back and forth with a company in Berkeley that manufactures, remanufactures wood siding and things like that, and they don't make wood gutters any longer. They used to. I used to work with them down there. So I don't have a source, but certainly you can look for those kinds of things and appreciate everything you're doing for the house.
Is there any other discussion? If there's no additional discussion, then I sense you're ready for a vote. Any objection to calling for a vote at this point? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Appears to be unanimous in favor. Would you like to inform the applicant what comes next?
Yes, please relay instruction to your contractor to retain the salvageable material. And then after a 10-day appeal period, you may proceed with the building permit.
And I will offer the same thing to you that I did to the prior applicant, which is if I or any member of the commission can be of assistance, feel free to call on me personally. Thank you. Anything else on this matter? All right. Then we move on to old business. None. Is there any new business? No new business. Then we move on to director's reports and communications. Anything from the director?
I don't have any updates at this time.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I guess I can say something. The last decision you made did not get appealed with the roof, so just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Because that
Thank
was
you.
pretty contentious.
Any direct reports and communications from the commissioners? I will offer you my congratulations. That was a challenging set of issues for us. And I think you plotted a good course. We'll see how the applicants react. But I think you did a good job of balancing their needs and financial situation against the value of conserving the structure. Any other reports or communications?
And the comment about the Mills Act was very appropriate. I don't know any of the, well, I know details about it, but, offering it to applicants is an opportunity.
If I could add to that as well. Yeah, we definitely recommend the Mills Act. I think what the problem is for people that have had their homes for a long time. There's no incentive for them to go and do the Mills Act because their property taxes are already really low and they don't have any money anyways. But yeah, certainly properties are exchanging hands now with the way the housing market is. The Mills Act is tremendous. With the woman that came with the door that did get appealed, she got a Mills Act contract, and we had to do a bunch of research on it before and found out that her taxes were cut in half. Whoa. So that was yeah, we were pretty impressed, and we're like, okay, now we can share that with other people to try to convince them to do it. So
can I ask you something about that? How long are those taxes cut in half for?
10 years. Yeah, and it's not, we also found out it's not, we provide a list of all the improvements they're going to make, right? And then you review and approve them. But the tax break is not based on how much they want the cost estimate for those, but it's some weird, crazy formula about if they were renting it. So it's a formula across the board for everyone, regardless if your improvements are $100,000 or $500,000, So, but yeah, the 50, about half off of your property taxes is pretty big. So instead of your house being assessed at $600,000, you're now at $300,000.
Cool. All right. Then we move into the public comment period. Is there anyone in the commission who wishes to address the commission on a matter within our jurisdiction? Please identify yourself for the record.
Bob Libershaw. And when I told a friend of mine I was going to come to the meeting here, they asked, is it on Access TV? I said, no. But, this is something I have to request. I mean, through the city, probably. These meetings of historic preservation should be on Access TV. And often, people don't even know this commission exists. Often from the city, when the city council or the city staff at the meetings is talking about commissions and committees, I rarely hear about the Historic Preservation Commission. So it really needs more stature. Like today, the conversations and the comments related to gutters and historic preservation could be very helpful to a much wider audience in promoting historic preservation for Eureka than just kind of tucked away in this room with a few people here, and you might have somebody offering public comment. I'm surprised there was no one here representing the Eureka Heritage Society, for instance, because there's much more that really could be done and needs to be done. Or you talk about contractors, using their judgment on things. How many contractors here are really adept at dealing with historic materials and historic ways of building things? CR used to have a whole courses about all of this, and that doesn't exist anymore. So it's up to maybe a few contractors in town who really know how to deal with the wood windows and the gutters and other issues, to decide what is savable and how to do things work in a historic mode, for historic preservation. So a lot of people are at the mercy of contractors that really only know how to deal with modern things and for convenience would rather do modern things, even if the homeowner would prefer a more historic preservation approach. So please, city, commission, get this on Access TV, and they do it live, and then they replay the meetings all the time, anytime over the next month. People could be watching, hearing, the discussions of these meetings. I really urge, all of you to get this on Access TV. It'd be a lot better than a lot of the other meetings that are on there sometimes. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else in the audience, real or virtual, who wishes to address the commission at this point?
I can respond to Bob because we've been discussing the Access TV option. I've talked to Pam a couple times, and I've just made myself to note to bring it back up to her again.
Okay. So then can we put this on next agenda for a report?
Sure. Yeah, I can get more information.
I do want to point out that the meetings, you can always see them live and also access them from our website. I know not everyone has a computer, but if you do have a computer, you can go to the city's website. You can watch the meeting live. You can watch the meeting after. Also, the city has a YouTube channel as well. So you could just search City of Eureka and then the YouTube pulls up. And that is actually really convenient. I used to watch it on Access Humboldt as well. Wasn't as convenient as being on YouTube, but it's on YouTube now. Thank you.
If it is on Access, it will be archived at the Internet Archive. So it'll be available for far too long.
Yeah, and on the city's website.
Yeah.
They're archived there. Yeah.
Any other public comments? If there are no public comments, then I'll ask if there's any other business for the commission at this point. If not, then we stand adjourned till our next meeting. Thank you all for your time and attention.